is James Dunn, and I will be presenting our end of life plan. So, thank you for joining me. Wish I had an audience, but instead I'm talking to my phone. So, to start, cognitive aging. So, the very definition of cognitive aging is the process of mental abilities decreasing as we grow older. It is a natural process, but it is not something that's necessarily negative. It's just a matter of us just growing older. But it certainly has negative properties, as does aging, whether that be physical or mental. Unfortunately, I've been observing firsthand the cognitive decline and aging of my parents. I've I've been living with them since high school. I had to move back here after college, but I've specifically mentioned or noticed just the past like year or two their cognitive decline, and this has included things like shifts in their memory and attention spans. Their memory has gotten worse, which stinks because I have a brain injury, so my memory isn't the best either. So it stinks that I can't call back on them and rely on them and their memory. Um, Not only that, their attention spans too. Um, it seems like my mom specifically gets sucked into her phone like really easily, and then cannot uh, pay attention or like understand or pay attention to anything outside of her phone. So to suck them out of this, I try to not suck them out of this, but specifically with my mom, I try to like keep her engaged in conversation, and then physical activity, which we will talk about throughout the entire presentation. Physical activity is probably the most important thing you could do for cognitive decline or increase as far as aging goes, or just any part of mental health in general. Cognitive aging. Let me make that a little bigger. Maybe I can't do that. Cognitive aging is not just about losing every cognitive ability at once. It's something that is inevitable. You will get old. You will experience declines in your memory and cognitive abilities. That's just life. Nothing we can do about that, but it's still important to understand. Um, in living with my parents over the past few years, like I said previously, I have witnessed a very gradual, and it's very important to say gradual decline in their memory. It didn't just all happen at once. It's specifically the past 2 or 3 years that's been a little more severe, but I've been noticing it for about 5 or 6 years now. It's just the memory, the attention span, um, stuff like that decreasing. And then this leads us to our next point, which is going to be emotions and cognition. So, because both my memory is terrible from my brain injury and then also them getting older, um, we're losing our memory, and it's causing us to forget stuff we've already said, and that leads to arguments. And yeah, it leads to arguments and us fighting, which is obviously bad for emotion. That's going to lead to anger, and yeah, and that's really impactful. Uh, I'm more so focusing on the negative aspects of it, but yeah, that becomes a problem whenever we're constantly arguing, and then it leads to like kind of very bad mood swings and stuff like that. Okay, so social cognition is basically how we view others and understand each other, which is similar to sociology. My parents and I prioritize healthy cognition by fostering and really bringing together family and friends. That's really something that's important to us. Whether so what part of the reason that's so important to us is because we keep our friends and family close. So those are very important, extremely close relationships to us. I know some people have 20, 30, 40 friends. Not myself and my family. We keep our circle small, but that is a good circle. Another important thing is recognizing our own mental state, because recognizing our own mental state allows us to fix it and be better at it, and recognize it and move from there. And that's very important and something that we try to prioritize. Emotions and cognition. Emotions and cognition means building on the connections between our feelings and thoughts. It's important to recognize how emotions can hijack our attention and memory. I've seen this a million times throughout my entire life. I work in public education, specifically with those younger than us. Um, Emotions and thoughts might as well be the same thing, and that's part of maturing, is separating emotions and your thought process. And then as you get older, I guess that line kind of blurs and comes back together. As you get older, your emotions and your cognitive thought processes are going to become closer together, which isn't necessarily a good thing. Part of being an adult is separating your emotions from your thoughts so you can properly think it out. Yes, recognizing our emotional state impacts our cognitive clarity and can help us make um, these intense situations better. Physiological factors of aging. So aging is not just a physical process; it's a physiological process involving our behavior, well-being, and overall quality of life. Oh, this is very important, and I think this is one of the best things my parents do, is that my parents combat the negative effects of physical and mental and emotional aging by hosting a monthly supper club with their high school friends. So once a month, they pick one couple to host all of their high school friends, and they all go to their place. They have a few drinks, they have dinner, and I think that's just really healthy as far as like staying physiological or physiosocial active. I think that's super important. That's something I want to do later in life. So that's really important. I think it kind of hits on every point of social psychology, and that you gotta be mentally, physically, and emotionally active. And I think this is perfect. It lets them voice their frustrations to their friends, whether that's about a spouse or whatever. Maybe it's a little bit of a therapy session, whatever. I think it's really healthy. All right, physical health. I could have sworn I made that one a little bigger. Sorry. Um, so this is super important. We've talked about this throughout class. We cannot overlook the link between physical and mental health. They are pretty much, as I said with the first slide, they're pretty much one and the same. You can't have positive physical health without positive mental health, and you can't have positive mental health without positive physical health. And you can see that by just going on a walk or going to the gym mentally. You're gonna see when you go to the gym, you go on a walk, you're gonna feel better. That's part of that's part of being a human. It's part of it. Morality. This one I can speak to personally because 3 years ago I fell off a dirt bike, almost killed myself because of the dirt bike wreck. 4 brain hemorrhages, 14 broken bones in total, 9 in the back, 2 in the neck, 3 ribs. That's why I've kind of been struggling with classes and whatnot. But yeah, I've come face to face with death, and that's very much a morality thing. Realizing, hey, death is right there, and actually that's I have a tattoo right here. It's in Latin. It means it says morality or memento mori. That means morality is sorry, very tired. Morality is certain. Remember, no, sorry. It remembers you are mortal. Remember, you are mortal. That's what it means, and I think that's really important with morality and whatnot. And I looked at this tattoo a lot whenever I was in the hospital. So, yeah, coming face to face to that definitely fundamentally changes how you think, act, and prioritize your life. It's super important. I'm almost blessed to have that perspective. But yes, I didn't have a plan now, and I honestly can't say I have a plan now. But I've certainly thought about the future and thought about now about what would happen, and it's a lot to think about. Thank you.